Thanks for joining us here at the Burlington Municipal Building. My name's Hardin Watkins. I'm City Manager for City of Burlington. It's my pleasure and honor to be part of this evening, and want to extend an appreciation to you for coming out to join us as we celebrate our 125th birthday of the city. I feel a little funny to be at this spot, and I've only been here 2 years, although the city's been around 125 years, but I'm thrilled to be part of it. There's a lot of great things, as you all know, to be proud of about Burlington's past, and so obviously it's a time to reflect and think about that. We're also excited about all the things that are happening and going on in the future, so it's a wonderful time to sort of pause and reflect. Councilmember Harold Owen could not be with us this evening, wanted to be here. As you all know, his affiliation with the city extends 40 years and offers his sends his regards and could not join us. But a few folks I want to make sure to recognize. Former City Manager Buddy Baker is with us. Buddy, would you make yourself known? Buddy Baker, let's give him a round of applause. And we also have two representatives from the Alamance Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Mac Williams and Mr. Trip Durham. Would you all please raise your hand? We recognize you. Thank you for joining us this evening. I want to do one other thing, is to thank the efforts to express our appreciation for our public works staff. They've done a beautiful job here with our building on our plantings, and you'll see some of the other things as we get through the evening. We want to express our sincere appreciation to them for the lighting and the landscape work that they have done. I'm going to introduce Rob Shepard. Rob is the Assistant Director of Business and Membership Development Services from the North Carolina League of Municipalities, of which the City of Burlington is a member. So Rob, will you come up?
Thank you, Hardin. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to be here and to join with you in this celebration. I bring you greetings from the League's president, who is Michael Lazara. He is the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Jacksonville, and also our Executive Director, Paul Meyer, who sends his regrets. He had hoped to be here but could not, so I'm pinch hitting on his behalf. I want to congratulate the city on reaching this milestone. The city celebrating 125 years of existence. The League of Municipalities was formed 15 years after the city was incorporated. So City of Burlington was one of the founding members of the League of Municipalities. So we've had a very long history together. And throughout that history, we've had strong public service and representation from appointed and elected officials from the City of Burlington. Matter of fact, Ronnie Wall, the former mayor, served as the League's president a few years back. Also, Aaron Noble, who is your Human Resources Director and is here tonight, he served for a long time on our Risk Management Board of Trustees on behalf of all the cities and towns across the state in providing risk management services for all cities and towns. So again, I just want to congratulate you on this momentous occasion, and we look forward to 125 more years and a long continued partnership between the City of Burlington and the League of Municipalities.
Thank you, Rob. So our first speaker this evening is going to be Representative Dennis Rydell, who represents District 64.
Thank you, Hardin. Senator Gunn, Representative Ross, good to be with you. Mayor Baltudis and Burlington Council, pleasure to be here. 125 years old. City doesn't look a day over 50, does she? I tell you what, it takes a lot to make a good community a great community, and what Burlington has here is a great community. You've got to have vibrant churches. You've got to have a host of nonprofit organizations that serve in the community. It takes a good education system becoming great. It takes a group of people that I want to give a special shout out to tonight, and that's the first responders. Can we have first responders? Raise your hand. Let's give them a round of applause. And if it wasn't for the first responders, none of us would feel like coming out tonight, would we? They're a vital part of our community, and we're thankful for them. For the city employees that do their work day in, day out, 365 days a year, that make this a great place to live, we give our thanks as well. So I'm delighted to be here with you. All I want to say is, happy birthday, Burlington, and let's get this party started. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So next we're going to ask Senator Rick Gunn and Representative Steve Ross to come join us, and they're going to share some remarks.
Happy birthday, Burlington, North Carolina, 125 years. What a great day. I have to go ahead and get this out. Quasquicentennial. I would like to not have to do that again, but I'm glad I got it out. You know what? I'm Burlington, born and raised. I believe in this community. And by the way, I have 3 classmates here today that graduated from Williams High School with me, and I'll be turning 60 this year. I don't know if they will, but it's been 60 great years in Burlington, North Carolina, and I am tickled to be here. Representative Ross and myself, with the support of Representative Rydell, felt it very, very important that we give Burlington, somebody that's been so good to us and these citizens in this community. To my left here, we are going to make a very special presentation. I want to tell you a little bit about what went into this. We each in our respective chambers filed with the Rules Chair a request that we be able to do a senatorial statement and a House statement that we could present on the floor of our respective chambers. And we're going to briefly read these, and the good news is they are short. And what I want you to know is, as of the other day when we read these senatorial and House statements, that these are now permanently in the journals and will be forever there in the journals of the North Carolina Senate and the North Carolina House and North Carolina General Assembly to commemorate such a great, great day here in the city of Burlington. I do believe in this place. I believe in this community. I believe in the entrepreneurs. I believe in our founding fathers. I believe in the folks who are in charge now. And I do know that as we move forward together, communicating, working for the common good, Burlington will do nothing but get greater and greater for decades and decades to come. So thank you. Being 60, let's see. So very quickly, from the North Carolina Senate. Whereas the city of Burlington was incorporated by the General Assembly of the state, North Carolina, February 14th, 1893. Whereas the city and its residents and its merchants, industries, and civic groups will come together to commemorate the milestone with celebration throughout the year. Whereas the city of Burlington and its citizens were crucial in the development of the North Carolina Railroad. Whereas the city of Burlington and its citizens are now at the forefront in industries such as advanced manufacturing, logistics, and biomedical research. Whereas the city of Burlington's strategic location in the heart of North Carolina and its investments in infrastructure have laid the groundwork for continued economic prosperity. Therefore, the city of Burlington deserves to be congratulated on its 125th anniversary and to be recognized for the contributions its residents have made to the state of North Carolina. This was filed in the Journal approximately 2 weeks ago and will ever be able to be read. Congratulations, and now I would like to call on my dear friend and another fellow Burlington lifelong resident, Representative Steve Ross.
Thank you, Senator Gunn. Happy birthday, Burlington. It's good to be back here. I was standing here a while ago thinking about, I spent about 20 or a little over 20 years in this building behind me. And there are days when I do miss it dearly because, the city of Burlington is blessed with some of the greatest employees and city workers that I've met anywhere in North Carolina. Some of the most dedicated people there are to be found. I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to leave out the whereas parts of it and just kind of talk a little bit about what actually was in the House statement and what I talked about on the House floor the day that we made the presentation. You heard it mentioned a moment ago that North Carolina was, or Burlington was sort of the birthplace of the North Carolina Railroad. And that all took place during the mid-1800s when they built company shops just a few blocks from here. And company shops thrived, and a little town grew up around it called company shops. And then a few years later, in the late 1800s, Burlington decided to change its name. It had outgrown the term company shops because that kind of was a railroad term at the time. So they incorporated and became the city of Burlington. Now, Burlington was a thriving city around the railroad, and a lot of the town grew up right around where the railroad shops were. So after that, as times changed, the railroad decided to build bigger shops, newer shops down in Spencer. And we all know what happened then. The railroad shops closed up here, and what could have been, at that time, the end of a town didn't happen because Burlington was resilient. The citizens came together. The leadership in the community came together. And they actually went out and started recruiting. Back then, in the turn of the century, the early 1900s, started recruiting, economic development, looking for textiles. And they went out and physically recruited textiles into the city. And we know the story there. Burlington became, again, another vibrant city around the textile industry. I've got a couple of classmates here also, Senator Gunn, and a couple of them were involved in textiles over the years. So as Burlington grew, it became known as a textile capital of the South, textile capital of the world, vibrant city. But then again, things changed, as it always does. And then in the 70s and 80s, the textile industry began to move overseas. And all the mills that we see around began to close up. Once again, the city was resilient, came back. Leadership began to go out and look at recruiting, look at what was Burlington's strengths. And as a result of that, you know, Burlington has come out of the ashes again and become a vibrant city with companies like we have across the street here, LabCorp, companies like we have out at our airport, like Honda Jet. So Burlington is a city that has done something that a lot of cities have not been able to do, and that's reinvent itself. Every time it's had adversity and things come along that change the way things happen here and the way Burlington was founded and the way it operated. Our leadership came together and again turned us into a vibrant city. And I'm proud of what I've seen Burlington do over the years. I love the history of Burlington. We talk about it a lot in Raleigh, how we've done things here. We'll have people come to us and say, what are you guys doing in Burlington? Seems like, you know, there's a lot of industry, there's a lot of growth that keeps going there. And it's because of the leadership in this city and what they've done. And I want to personally thank the council for the work that they continue to do. You know, I haven't been gone that long, but they're still doing what the council needs to do. And that's that leadership that we need to move forward and remain a strong city for our citizens. So that's kind of a synopsis of what I said on the floor that day. But at this point, what we would like to do is unveil, and this is what is forever in the record in the General Assembly in Raleigh, and the city, I'm sure, will display this proudly here. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much. We appreciate you doing that for us. So next up, we're going to have comments from our city council members, and we're going to lead off with Council Member Jim Butler. So, Mr. Butler.
Thank you, Hardin. Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome everybody here. What Representative Ross failed to tell you, he did serve a long time on our council, but I think he was on it when we were incorporated in 1893. So he failed to tell you that. No, I'm glad everybody's here. Welcome to everybody that's here. It's wonderful. You know, we've got 53,000 people in Burlington. And as you look around, give or take, and as you look around tonight, there's a small fraction represented here. But it just shows the warmth and style and feel of our community that we have. You know, and we're so very fortunate to have the young people that are with us. Let's give our young people a round of applause that participate in our contest. There's many of our young people here, and that's the future. That's who's going to be celebrating this down the road. But as I was thinking on sort of the history of Burlington and some of the things that was important to me, you know, I told somebody not a long time ago that it takes a village to raise a child, and Burlington's been a pretty good village. And my wife is here with me, and my son Grayson, and my daughter Megan and son Nathan have all grown up here and lived here. And everybody here is friends, and everybody here is a sense of community, and that's what's most important. What makes Burlington special is that we've had a history, a legacy, a heritage of great leadership. And it's been great leadership from community participants. It's been a community of great volunteerism. If you want to see a community mobilize, find someone that has a need, and you will see this community mobilize like none other. And that's extremely important. And when you ride from our city limits, from one city limit to the next, you're going to see a mark, a bruise, a bump here and there, but that's not wear and tear. That's a sign of endurance. And that's what's made Burlington so special all these years. It's been a privilege and an honor to serve as an elected official in this community and in this city. And similar to what Senator Gunn said, it's where we grew up. This is what we are, and this is what makes this place special. So on behalf of my family, and I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight and wish Burlington a happy birthday and many more to come. Thank you.
But I'd like to thank the city staff and all of the people who participated in putting this event together. It's a year-long event. There's going to be other occasions that we'll be getting together. But on this cold night, I do want to sincerely thank all of you. Jokingly, Representative Ross and I were just talking briefly, and we were sort of comparing notes. And I've been around here much of the time that the city's been in existence. About 60% of that. And so anyway, I've got a lot of Burlington in me. I'm really very, very proud of this city. As a matter of fact, I had prepared some historical remarks I wanted to make, but Representative Ross had pretty much covered those, and I may save those for another event. And also, too, as cold as it is, I'm sure it would get old long before it was over if I would get into that. But we have a long, rich history, and we indeed have an excellent city. And I just want to simply say, it's, you know, progressive cities, they look to the future, probably more so than the past. But we, from time to time, must look at our past and reflect on it and really appreciate where we've come and what we've accomplished. And I won't go on and on. Finally, I would just like to simply say I'm a lifelong resident. It has been indeed a wonderful place to live, work, and raise a family. And again, it is really just a wonderful occasion. I thank all of you. I thank our distinguished guests who have come tonight and participated. Thank you again. Happy birthday, City of Burlington.
Good evening, everybody. I spent some time thinking about what people looked like back 125 years ago, and I once sang a song in a high school recital that I'm sort of embarrassed by, but it was called Let's Go Back to 1892. So let's just pretend it was 1893, but it said that the girls wore picture hats and all of the boys wore spats. So I think that tonight they would have been a lot warmer than we are because they were dressed that way. But that's a long history, but it's not that long ago. And it's interesting to me what happens in the interim of 125 years. My grandfather would be 126 today if he were here. So I'm not that far removed from the people who were here in Burlington and made those kinds of decisions about reinventing themselves, as somebody mentioned earlier, because their name no longer meant what it used to. Company Shops was no longer relevant to what was happening with the people in the city, and they had to come up with a new way to see themselves. And that's what we do every day, every year. We do the same kind of thing. I'm so delighted to see all of you here. I did not grow up in Burlington. I've been here for 44 years, which I think counts for something, because I'm sure some of you weren't even born when I got here. But I also went away for 5 years and came back, because the people here were what drew me back to Burlington. And they've always been what makes this city as great as it is. With our troubles or with our joys, the people have been such a gift to me and to my family. And I hope that that's true for all of you. We will create the future together, that we are the ones who come together and find solutions to problems. And we count on you to let us know what those are. And we also count on you for the solutions, because many, many of you have wisdom that is so important for us to hear. So we want to keep it going. We've got a bright future ahead of us the way things are going now, and we want to keep that effort going. And I hope you'll all join us in making that happen. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for all your comments this evening. Thank you for the stories, the shares of all the years of our community. I have the honor of presenting a special recognition this evening. For those of you who may not know, we invited all of the second grade classes from the elementary schools for ABSS schools in the city limits of Burlington to participate in a special art contest. And the second graders were asked to draw their favorite places in our community, what they love most about Burlington. And in the tent behind you are a selection of the winners, and those same winners will be displayed in the Paramount Theater in June, and we invite you to come back out and see those. But we selected one winner, above all, who shared with us her deep love with this community, and it's my honor to recognize Miss Chloe Chen this evening. And I invite her and her mother and brother, I believe, are here. You could come up too. And then Miss Chen is in Miss Waller's class at Smith Elementary. If Miss Waller could come up. And then I believe her principal is here as well. Is Miss Black here? And we have a special gift for her. Her artwork will also be available in tomorrow's edition of the Times News in a special Quasqui Centennial advertisement that we've placed. So you can check that out tomorrow morning. I also want to mention, I see a lot of folks taking photos. As you're taking photos tonight, tag them on social media with hashtag Burlington125, and we'll help share this revelry with folks all across our community. Senator Tillis sent us a wonderful recognition this afternoon, and so I'd like to share that with you briefly. Please make sure everyone gets one of those poppers. It's written, I am pleased to extend my best wishes to everyone gathered for the lighting ceremony to usher in the Quasqui Centennial Anniversary of the City of Burlington. While my Senate schedule prevents me from attending this evening's event, I would like to congratulate Burlington, North Carolina on 125 successful years of incorporation and acknowledge your vision of promoting the safety, health, and quality of life for our residents. As we mark this important milestone, we have a wonderful opportunity to learn about Burlington's rich history in our state. Throughout the many celebrations planned for this year, our citizens can celebrate Burlington's past and look forward to an exciting future. And it's that exciting future that I got the opportunity to witness this morning. We had a wonderful ribbon cutting downtown of a brand new business opening up that does 3D printing. And they've already been working on prototyping and designing new products for companies all around our community and around the world. It's exciting to think 125 years ago it was the railroad industry that was driving our community, and today we've got new high-tech manufacturers popping up. I can only imagine what the next 125 years will bring to our community. So without further ado, I hope everyone's got your poppers. You're ready. So let's begin a countdown from 10 for this amazing lighting ceremony. So everybody ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday, Burlington! Thank you, everyone. And thank you especially to staff who worked very hard to bring this all together this evening.